Hello, test, test. Thank you, Cyber Scorpio and Genuinely Grievous. I'll be right there, just gotta spam the stream out a bit. Hey Bo, thanks for coming. I'll be right with you. Alright, I think I got it spammed everywhere I need. Let's reveal. Oh, wrong button. We need this one. There we go. Y'all saw my mouse there for a sec. Gotcha, Bo. Hello, Pain. Lime. I use someone I know in real life, Pain. I don't know if I've seen you on a live stream before. Look at this nice old moist palette. I didn't think that the palette paper would last this long. I was just like, started it with the Skorne streams, and then I was like, we'll just see how far I can push it before it gets moldy or anything. And I haven't spotted any mold yet, and paints is still usable. And I've got my classic Gundam mug here. With some tea, so I don't know if there'll be like 6 to 8 burps tonight, unfortunately. But you know, we'll see. Just gonna get everything set up here and then I'll talk about what I'm painting. Oh, Sage Olsen. Of course I remember you, Sage. Thanks for coming. Pain as your new account name is a solid statement you're making there. Hello, Sugar Candy Miniatures. It's the legendary Clown Wrangler, everybody. Organizer of the Clown Gobos, or founder of the Clown Gobos, General. How would you like to be called, Fiverr? Some of you who are at the previous Skorne painting streams might have seen this pop up a few times. It's just this random model I've been playing around with in between the Skorne models. The armor is kind of based around some shifter paint, and then I just kind of started blocking in highlights on it today. Testing out base colors. This is one of those models that's just gonna be, or it's been a whip for years, so ideally it's not gonna continue to be a whip for years. But I'm not gonna finish it tonight or anything. I'd probably be working on Skorne the whole night. Best known for clowns. Clowns and candy-themed miniatures. Thanks, Cyber Scorpio. Captain of the Clowns. Alright, sounds good. Thanks, Fiverr. Yeah, I like when I'm painting white, I like to build up, or because I imagine this flag will be some kind of white or an off-white, so I'm building it up from like a, no, that's not the right paint. Building it up from this somber gray. Just like a nice gray-blue. And yeah, I'm kind of like, the flag is gonna need a lot of work. I'm not sure. I kind of was painting it with like messy on purpose today, because you can see it's kind of like tattered and torn. So I'm definitely, when I get towards like the later stages of painting this, I'm gonna do a lot of, or I'm gonna have to look at some references of like battered flags and stuff and see how I can paint. That's kind of like out of my comfort zone, which, you know, is a good thing. Airbrushing. Right, Sage or Pain, were the last time you were on the stream, were you telling me that you had gotten an airbrush, or is that someone else? Anyways, the other models we'll be working on, you might recognize these from one of the, let's see, it was like my 4th or 5th video was my Skorne painting video. And so I've got, there's a unit of like cavalry models in Skorne called the Ferox. This is like the character Ferox models, so they ride like desert saber-toothed cats. So this is like a metal mini that would be a lot harder to kit bash because the rider's legs are like sculpted onto the pewter. And this model's like pretty solid, and it has a dismounted version, because when you're playing it in the game of Warmachine and Hordes, if you kill this model, then it turns into like the dismounted version. So you have to kill it again because it's supposed to be like a strong character model. This one's called Tyrant Redeem. And obviously he's got a lot of glorious golden armor. And yeah, so he's like the character Ferox cavalry model in Warmachine and Hordes. And then I've got a unit of 5 of these. I painted the other 3 of them way back in 2020 when I did that Skorne video, because I was just painting them for Brawl Machine, which is like a smaller format of Warmachine that's fan-made. So now I'm just finishing up that unit of 5, and the original unit were riding similar like saber-toothed tigers, but I didn't like the sculpts that much. They were kind of old to the point where I didn't like want to pay the full price for them. So I got these Dark Elf Cold One models from a bits swap at one of my local game stores at some point. And then once I had acquired those, I eventually like went on to Privateerpress's website, and you can do bits orders. So I just ordered the individual bits for the 5 riders I would need for the unit of Ferox, and they fit on the saddles pretty much perfectly. I mean, like, there's a tiny gap, but no one would really notice that. And I didn't really do any modifications to the cold ones, and it just worked out great. Fiverr Skorne is from Hordes, so, but yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. Well, it's not that hard to explain. It's from Warmachine and Hordes. Warmachine and Hordes are like they're not really 2 separate games. They use the same rule set, but like one of them's steampunk fantasy, and the other one's just like fantasy. So the mechanics between whether you're playing a Hordes faction or a Warmachine faction are a bit different, but they're essentially the same game. Like, Hordes factions can fight against Warmachine factions, etc. Yeah, where was I? Talking about cold ones. Oh yeah, the base is just my usual mixture of hobby sands, but then I use just a little bit of cork. And I think I did an okay job making it not look too much like cork. It's always a challenge. So yeah, I think we're gonna start with some exciting working on the skin of the dinosaurs, probably. Yeah. Hi, Lukia TV. Thanks for the double like. Pain, how do I use leftover Gunpla stickers? I don't really use leftover Gunpla stickers. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've used leftover Gunpla decals. Yeah, right now, I don't throw away my Gunpla stickers. So I have like a Ziploc bag in one of my drawers that's just full of unused Gunpla sticker sheets. Sometimes I do use the stickers and then just awkwardly rip them off when it's like time to paint. It depends. So I thought we'd do just a little bit of experimenting. Kitty litter and coconut fiber over that cork to break it up. That sounds like a good, cheap solution. Here I've got this product I barely use. It's just like P3 mixing medium. I think it's just basically a matte medium. Yeah, you can see the nozzle's a little clogged. It's been a while. Let's just put that there. I'm just gonna use this with water instead of glaze medium, because I'm running a bit low on glaze medium and that sauce is precious. So I'm gonna see if this can kind of fill the same role. And actually we don't need it at the start. At the start we're just gonna use pure Thoral flesh. Let's just take some of this dried up paint along the rim. Is this satisfying content for people? Ooh. Should this be the whole stream, just painting off crusty paint from the rims? When I used to work at one of my local game stores, there's a guy there that like every time he was painting and he would like peel off one of those from his Games Workshop paint pots, he would save them in a jar. So we just had a massive jar of, like, I don't know what you'd call them, paint peels. So how's everybody doing tonight on this fine Saturday evening? Well, it's evening for me. I don't know if it's evening for everyone else. Hope everyone's doing well. Chilling or working on projects, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio. Paint always looks better. I usually when I'm putting on stickers, it's like a situation where I'm not sure if I'm gonna paint it, or like I haven't decided yet and I know it's gonna be sitting on the shelf for a while and I just kind of want it to look slightly nicer on the shelf while it's got the stickers. Or like if I'm, you know, certain kits, if there's only a few stickers, I won't put them on before I take photos, but some of them, like, they just look a little too plain without the stickers. I guess there's been a few kits that I've painted, but I still use the eye stickers, and that's pretty common for like the one sticker that people do use to be the eye stickers. Yeah, they are like forbidden sprinkles. I don't know, he didn't seem like a weird enough person to save his fingernail clippings. There's a difference between saving... I mean, this one, because of the color of the paint, looks a little gnarly, but this, in my opinion, this is not as gross as saving fingernail clippings. I mean, I don't think there's... Saving fingernail clippings isn't like that gross, I guess. There's worse things you can put in jars. So yeah, the first part of this painting, I'm just kind of... The bottom part of this raptor skin is just thrall flesh, so I'm just getting an even coat of that on first, and then I work on like the transition zone between the green and the thrall flesh. And this green airbrushing, or this green paint was applied with an airbrush. It was applied with an airbrush in, I want to say, early 2020, so it's been a whip project for a while. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna finish them tonight. They'll still be a whip after this. The next live stream will probably be Gunpla, and I'll try to do one next Saturday, a week from now. Depends on how working on the other various projects is. Just gotta stick to my self-imposed schedule. How's the clown video of yours been doing, Fiverr? Was hoping I could give you a decent signal boost for that. Painting the eyes is how you practice wet blending. I've never used wet blending on eyes. That sounds like a fun challenge. Well, maybe it depends on the eyes. When it comes to painting miniatures in this scale, with my eyes, I'm usually just striving for, like, okay, I need to get like a black dot for the pupil and whites for the eyes, and I need to try and make it look like they're not cross-eyed. That's like what I strive to achieve. The last batch of infantry I just finished and posted today, I feel like I did pretty okay on their eyes. But, you know, I posted them as a group of models, so you can't quite see their eyes. Well, Fiverr, that gunpla I gave you shouldn't be too hard. You could, I believe in you. You would be able to build that in a stream. Or you could build that one first by yourself, and then buy like another basic high-grade kit to build on stream, and then you've got like one under your belt already. Oh, 900 subs and 1.6k views. Nice, congrats. And 3 patrons. The 3 patrons is way, like, has way more of an impact than the views and subscribers, in my opinion. 3 patrons, like, that's big. Because it's a big deal when I get, like, 1 new patron. I don't know if I've ever gotten 3 patrons from, like, or, like, all in a short period of time like that. And yeah, you'll definitely be able to hit 1k. Well, like, you can definitely hit 1k subs if you want to by the end of 2023 for sure. Yes, your Chunky Boy is on pre-order, I'm assuming, like mine. Yeah, I have no idea when it's gonna show up. One day we'll be, or one day the internet content tubes will be graced by the presence of the pizza oven or pizza baker Gundam. This brush used to have such a fine tip, but I just painted so much with it, now it's like I can only use it for the most roughest of work. Slightly awkward to get in under the belly here, but we're doing it. Yes, it's the Gushin. Yeah, Iron-Blooded Orphans is good. I know you've watched some anime, so like the anime tropes in it shouldn't bother you too much. I mean, it's not that tropey. Alright, it's got like Gundam tropes in it, but you know, it's a Gundam show. A Gundam show, am I right? Oh, Bo, are you talking about Gundam eyes then? Oh, hey, Michael. Thanks for coming. Is this Fatal Swordsman, Michael? Did you change your name? Are you on a different account, or is this a different Michael? Your profile icon is orange, like last time. I mean, if you don't want to say, that's fine. You can remain anonymous. Didn't mean to accidentally reveal your identity there if I did. Ah yes, Cuderia on Bernstein. Iron-Blooded Orphans gets pretty interesting and like... it's been a while since I watched it. I'm trying to remember the sections of the show I enjoyed the most. It was pretty solid throughout. You know, like any anime that has that many episodes, not every episode can be a total banger. My favorite part, some of my favorite parts were when Mikazuki has to like go back to the home ship during Gundam space battles to refuel and like reload his ammo. But then he also gets like snacks brought into his cockpit so he can like, you know, keep his blood sugar up during the battle. He just like quickly has a sandwich in a juice box. I don't know if you've seen that part of the show yet, but it happens a few times. And it's just good wholesome mecha content, you know? There aren't enough mecha shows where they show the pilots having snacks in the cockpit. Yeah, Orga's pretty cool. So cool, he never wears his jacket properly. I think I showed Blue Parappa some Iron-Blooded, like just some clips from the show, and she got a little annoyed at how anime Orga's hair was. Oh, well, sorry for that very minor spoiler, but now you have something to look forward to. Yeah, if any of the 7 of you watching this stream right now want to check out a video after this, you should check out Sugar Candy Miniatures Pride Month collab video that I contributed a Gloomspite Gets Endless Moon model paint job to. But some of the other contributions to the epic goblin army are truly a sight to behold. Yeah, if I wanted to cosplay Orga, I'd have to use like the entire con weekend. I'd go through one full bottle of gel, probably. I guess cosplay, it's more common to use a wig, but okay, almost done the first coat on this raptor here. Time to crack open some boys with the cold ones, am I right, Warhammer fans? I probably could have gotten one of the finished models out of the display cabinet for reference, but you know, if they're all slightly different, that's totally fine. Just catching up on the messages here. If I could pilot a Gundam, which one would I choose? Oh man, that's a hard decision. I mean, who wouldn't want to pilot? I'm torn between piloting something like cute and goofy looking, like the GOG or the Zoc or the Guzhen, or piloting something that I think looks badass, like, you know, Barbatos, but or the Goof. I think it's too pretentious to say I would pilot one of my own kit bashes, so I won't say that. Thanks for stopping by, Finon. If you like the Goof video, you should check out my Gamma Wolves playlist. More Gamma Wolves content coming this summer. Just be patient, I'm a one-man team. It takes me a while sometimes. Yeah, that's right, I did paint it like Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio, can't go wrong with the beast. Lupus Rex. Welcome back, Pain. That's fun to say. Welcome back, Pain. The pain has returned. Oh, it's getting a little warm in here. I need to crack my window. And I'm back. That video made you buy 2 of them? The Goof video? Did it make you buy 2 high-grade Goof customs, Pain? What'd you do with 2 of the same kit? Made some cool crab goof with multiple limbs, perhaps? Nice. I mean, if there's any kind of gunplay you're gonna buy twice, goof is a solid choice. And I'm glad you like my goof crab idea. I mean, well, if you got 2 goof kits, you get, well, you get 2 Gatling shields, 2 swords, 2 arms, 2 legs, so yeah, I mean, there's lots you could do. It depends on how complicated you're willing to get with the modifications. It's not where my strength lies, so I'm not sure how much I could do to help. You know me, I'm all about focusing on the brushwork. Doing the really intense kit bashing and scratch building is not my area of expertise, but I like to dabble. Oh, and good news, everybody. I played my first practice game of Gamma Wolves this week. Gonna do at least one more round of practice gaming before I film the actual battle report, which will probably be in August, because yeah, it's a video I've been building up to for a while, so I want to really take my time with it. But where I was going with this is that playing Gamma Wolves was really fun, so painting the hundreds of hours painting those 7 mechs was worth it. In the first practice game, the antagonist won, barely. But, you know, it was the practice game, so me and my opponent were both forgetting a lot of rules and probably playing some things wrong. Goofatoris, yeah, that's good. It wouldn't, I guess, like, the name wouldn't fit as much for, like, that centaur type model, but Goofatoris, just, that makes me think of Goofosaurus. Is that just, I'm just imagining a, like a blue mech that's a T-Rex mech, but has, like, the goof helmet. Or maybe it's just a literal T-Rex that's wearing goof armor plates. That could be a fun kit bash to do. Just buy, like, a dinosaur model, or a toy dinosaur from the dollar store. I'm sure that would trigger some Gunpla builders on Twitter. The majority of Gunpla people on Twitter would be like, whoa, that's awesome, and retweet it. And then some people would call it heresy, probably. Yeah, I've got the Barbatoris in my backlog, waiting for the right moment to build that janky centaur. Glad we could put ideas in your head, Payne. Yeah, Fiverr, I knew you'd be into the Goofosaurus. You could use some Transformers Dinobots as references, perhaps. Now I'm just imagining Grimlock, the Dinobot, but painted blue and the goof colors, and like with the goof head kit bashed onto him. Obviously, with a modification like that, you probably wouldn't be able to transform it, but you know me, I'm not afraid of locking moving parts in place. I'm a monster that way. Maybe when I'm done working on the raptor skin, I'll like move on to painting some armor, but before I'll do that, I'll give those of you who are watching a sneak peek on this commission I'm working on. Working on it mostly off camera, but it's a pretty cool looking Gunpla commission, so you can get an exclusive look. Yeah, how could I forget Zoids? Of course, there's definitely some dinosaur Zoids. Scale might be a bit off there, but I think there's a few different scales of Zoids anyways. And that's got me thinking about Beast Wars Megatron now. Any Beast Wars fans in the house? Or, I don't remember which country, but like, I don't remember if it was like America or Canada, but like one of them, it was called Beast Wars, and the other one was called Beasties, I think. And then this weird sequel series is called Beast Machines, which I didn't watch much of. I mean, I never fully watched Beast Wars because I didn't have cable, so I had to rent it from the video store, and you know, they always had a limited selection. I might have an old Beast Wars toy sitting in a box somewhere, I can't remember. I know I definitely had it wasn't like one of the really fancy ones, but I had like a Beast Wars Megatron Transformer at some point. There's some dust fibers I need to peel off this dinosaur. Hello, Tanko Wolf. Okay, good luck with the Transformers modifications. I'm glad to provide you with the idea, but I can't provide you with much else for assistance. I think there's this guy, Nathaniel, who watches my streams sometimes, who, oh man, there's a long piece of dust in there. Okay, got it. He's made some custom Transformers. I think he's Nathaniel Custom Gundams on Instagram or something. Yeah, I've heard those Zoids kits are expensive, Cyber Scorpio. Oh, Tango, that's what you were saying, me too, Tanko Wolf. Yeah, it was a great, it was an amazing show for the time, like technology-wise too. And I believe it was animated in Canada, in Vancouver, which gives me another reason to praise it as a Canadian. Don't quote me on that though, I might be just getting it confused with Reboot. If anyone watched that show, I'll just go through all these early CGI shows. Maybe Reboot and Beast Wars were both animated by Mainframe Animation Studios. Yeah, it's great to like go back and watch an episode of Beast Wars and see how janky the animation looks, and just think about how expensive it was to produce at the time, because it was cutting edge. And now we can just render 3D stuff like nothing in our smartphone apps for the TikToks or whatever. Now, when you compare these like newer Cold One Warhammer sculpts to the old ones, it's quite entertaining. I don't have any of the old ones around to show any of you, but I definitely would if I did. I suppose I could get my a Lizardman book off the shelf. The Lizardman Cold ones look slightly different, but I think the older, yeah, the like 5th or 6th edition Cold ones, the Dark Elves and the Lizardmen had pretty similar ones. Okay, we need to do another coat to strengthen this up a bit. Teletoon's a network in Canada. Well, it might be in America too, but Teletoon's a network, not a studio. And I believe Beast Wars was broadcast on, or where I saw it broadcast at friends' houses, was on YTV. Teletoon was the channel that had the Cartoon Network shows like Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, and some of those might have also been on YTV, but Samurai Jack, I think like out of all the Cartoon Network shows, Samurai Jack's my favorite. And like this 5th season of Samurai Jack that they did a couple years ago was really good. A really good way to wrap up the story, I thought. That's when most cartoons were good, Cyber Scorpio. Most cartoons and anime. Late 90s, early 2000s, that's like the golden age for... A lot of people say that's the golden age for like... Maybe anime in the Western... Well, more people probably say the 80s. The 80s economic boom in Japan was probably like where some of the best animation came from, just because there's... almost everyone was... Or I guess everyone was... doing... you know, all traditional hand-drawn animation. And there's just a ton of money to throw around to animations, and then, you know, we end up with classics like Akira. Then, you know, years later, Ghost in the Shell. Not to mention all the iconic shows from that time, like, you know, Evangelion, obviously, and then years later in 2007, Gurren Lagann. Shows that have all just held up extremely well, in my opinion. And yeah, lots of good Western cartoons from that era as well. Yeah, there was just one spot near his butt that I missed the first time, so now it's awkwardly not quite strong enough. Yeah, Fiverr, I think there's a random Instagram reel that played for me today that was just like some reposted content from Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Although I haven't like seen it yet, so I can't say for sure, but like it kind of looked like clips that I had seen from that show before, because, you know, I've heard about it a lot. I used to, years ago, I did an anime podcast with some friends, and the gimmick of the show was some of us, like half of the hosts would watch one anime, and then the other half would watch a different anime. And we'd compare them, and I think we did do Vampire Hunter D episode. I can't quite remember, but the episode that we did do that, I was watching the other anime, so I didn't watch that one. I almost said High School DxD, which is like a really lewd, ecchi anime. Which it might have vampires in it, I can't remember. I didn't watch that one either. I was on the alternate show for that episode, but man, I heard some things. And I've seen some things about that show. I mean, there's plenty of lewd, ecchi shows like that around. There's a reason anime has the reputation it does. Reputation's been slowly getting better over the last 30 years though, or maybe I should say last 20 years actually, or 10, 15. When did Crunchyroll stop becoming an illegal pirating site and become a legit streaming site, or at least brand themselves that way? Maybe that was the start of the mainstream anime era, or maybe when Kimi no Nawa came out in was that 2017, 2018? Okay, now so is Bloodlust like a standalone movie from the Vampire Hunter D series? Blood Angels, yep, that's a good team. Oh, nice Tenko Wolf. Let's see, I need to grab... Got Crick's Bane base. It's a nice earthy green. And we're going to mix it with the thrall flesh, and then instead of using glazed medium, I'm going to use this mixing medium with water and see if we can get the same kind of effect we're looking for. Well, Food Wars is like, I find the loot, I've only watched, I think I watched 15 or 16 episodes of Food Wars before me and my friends stopped to watch something else, and I had some pretty like good laughs in that, but like the best like lewd gag in Food Wars was in the first episode, and it like didn't like surpass that by the time I had gotten further in the show. So I think we might have gotten distracted. I don't remember what we got distracted by. It's probably the next part of JoJo or something. I appreciate Food Wars for what it is, but you know, it's definitely what the people call a cultured anime, if you know what I mean. Oh boy, Supernatural. I haven't watched that, but I've seen many memes. Okay, probably need to add a lot more thrall flesh to this. A standalone complex. You know, you are a, just like you're a Zote appreciator, you're a Tachikoma appreciator, right, Fibers? So I'm assuming you've seen Standalone Complex? Okay, that's gonna need to be thinned with a lot of water. That's a goopy. And even made a little squirt sound. Oh boy, we're at 12 viewers now. Thanks for coming, people. You've arrived as I'm mixing paints, which I know is content some people like. And yes, yes, I'm not treating my brush properly. I'm using a brush that was already pretty haggard, so it's fine. Yes, Tachikoma are good. Like the most recent Standalone Complex show, the all CGI one, I get why people don't like it, but honestly, like, I'm an easy man to please. Just give me some Tachikomas and like, I'll watch it. And like they did a fairly nifty Tachikoma redesign for that show as well, which I thought was good. But they also had like a mix of old and new Tachikomas in the cast. What can I say? I'm a simple man with simple taste. Now, at this point, no, I'll keep using this brush. I think I can get away with it. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, there's a few different versions of the same story, kind of, with like the different shows and movies, and they all provide a slightly different flavor of the same thing. But only Standalone Complex gives you Tachikomas. What's good about the Tachikomas is just how dissonant they feel sometimes with like the rest of the show. Yeah, that's thinned with a bit too much water. But it's, it's glazy enough for me, I think. I'm just being glazy. I'm a glazy painter. I think I need just a little bit more Crixbane base, actually. Yeah, I think Cyber Scorpio, my uncle told me a long time ago that you could like thin paints with Windex for your airbrushing. You just gotta make sure you're proper ventilated and all that, as always. What Space Marine kit would I recommend? Are you building, do you want to build like one single Space Marine, or are you looking to get into playing 40k with a Space Marines army? This stage of the painting looks pretty jank right now, but it's like most of the painting recipes I use on my Skorne. It's all about just getting the colors on there, and then everything gets tied together with a nice soothing bath of Army Painter Strong Tone. Wash does wonders. Especially like for, you know, this green and tan on the dinosaur. Slap some Army Painter Strong Tone on there. Oof. Liquid talent, as they say in the business. Well, if you're getting into 40k with an army, I would say don't buy anything new unless like you're getting into it with a friend and you can find some sort of like, you know, starter set to come. Almost every like starter set, as far as I know, one of the armies it comes with is Space Marines, so like a decent way to get started is to buy an army box and split the cost with a friend, and then you each get an army out of it. Or like you might not want to dive right into 40k right away. You might want to try out Kill Team, just like the skirmish version. So there's like Kill Team boxes you could split with a friend as well. Although the latest one is pretty overpriced from what I've seen. It does come with some terrain, but by far one of the best ways to like collect Warhammer is to look on the used market. Like, you know, depending on where you live, there might be some Facebook groups for trading or selling used minis, or just the marketplace in general, or lots of people use eBay. And like there's so many like used Space Marines just floating out in the ether. So I'd say it's like look towards buying used Space Marines first. That's what that's like the biggest takeaway I could give you, I think. And like unless you're playing with like a lot of competitive like tournament power gamers, like most people won't care if you're like, well, this Space Marine has a flamer, like a flamethrower. I just don't like have the actual flamethrower model yet. It's like some people play as like what you see is what you get with the minis. Some people play of like, or a good person to play a game with would understand like, you know, if you want to proxy a model or something. Yeah, and in terms of like recommending which Space Marine model to get, I mean, they're all... Yeah, I mean, start with just like one squad if you can. One squad of basic Space Marines. You know, when you get into like the more fancy commander models and stuff, they start to have a bunch of like purity seals on them that you gotta paint, and like skulls. Like a bunch of details to pick out. You know, if you want to paint those, go ahead, but you might want to start off with just some basic Space Marines. And just the Space Marine like power armor is very enjoyable to paint. This is like the reason why Games Workshop pushes them so much as like a starter army. It's like they're literally designed to be easy to paint, and they're also just like a really good canvas. Like there's a lot of different ways you can paint a Space Marine. And like there's so many different colors you can paint your Space Marines, and there's the whole, you know, you're seeing it with like the Horus Heresy stuff that's coming out now. It's all about like, oh, what chapter do you play? You know, it's like picking a guild kinda. Alright, I think we can move on to the next one. Only overloaded the palette a little bit. Hello, Ethan. Thanks for coming. Fiverr, don't you know if you're into wargaming, you're legally obligated to paint at least one Space Marine in your life? Gotta pay the Space Marine tax. How much is my paint water ASMR showing up on my, or being picked up on my mic? I've heard from others before that they enjoy the sound of like the swish swish of the water, so I could move it closer to the mic if you like. Oh good, you've painted one Space Marine. Okay, so your quota is fulfilled. You never have to paint as another Space Marine again. I'm sorry I questioned you. Yeah, it's funny you asked that, Ethan. I was talking earlier that when I'm done, or when I like reach a good stopping point, like the midway point on this Raptor skin, I was gonna show you all, or give you all an exclusive look at this commission I'm working on. So yeah, I recently changed my like Twitter and Instagram bios to say that commissions are open. I've got 3 commissions now currently. It's gonna take me a while to work through because I'm doing it at the same time as working on videos. So right now I'm just like, I'm roughly saying commissions for 2023 are open, but I am open for commissions. Whether that's for Gamma Wolves or something else. YouTube ad revenue is way too unstable to count on for anything for me at this point with the amount of views I'm bringing in, which don't get me wrong is good for the niche of like painting models and stuff, but it's not that much, like it's not enough money to like be able to rely on for anything. So that's why I got branch out and do stuff like commissions, and I'll be updating my Patreon at some point this summer with some cool stuff, kind of in like the instructional content field. You do not wish to paint another. That's totally fine, Fiverr. I've got my three Kyle's Space Marines painted from the Monster Energy chapter, but I've painted maybe like at least one other Space Marine years ago. But you know, I have more Space Marines to like round out the Monster Energy chapter eventually. Who knows when I'll do that. I've got the Eradicators are like the Monster Absolute Zero Sugar white can. The kind of base Space Marines I have. The Chainsword Bolt Gun ones, they're just, you know, generic monster flavor. So I don't know if like all the Command Space Marines are gonna be like each a different flavor of monster. That would be an intimidating presence on the table. Just this like rainbow of Space Marines, and there would be like, oh cool, like gay pride Space Marine army. I'm like, it's the Monster Energy Space Marine army actually. Just look at their shoulder pads. I'm glad my soothing Skorne painting stream is making Lobster purr. And Tanko Wolf, are Warhammer figures hard to paint? Can't really answer that question because there's such a wide range of minis. And some are way easier than others to paint. And also, like, some people... Yeah, like, everyone has different kind of painting that they enjoy, so I might find a particular model hard to paint and someone else might find it like the most fun thing to paint in the world. Some people like it's like, oh, I love picking out all these tiny skull details or whatever. Whereas some people want a mini that's like, if it's a basic mini that I can get away with just dry brushing and washing, or dunking in contrast paint, gimme. Oh yeah, don't worry about asking the questions, Ethan, it's cool. And yeah, the commission works, it depends on what you want. Like, with the first commission I got, the guy didn't have like a specific one in mind, so it ended up being one from my backlog. But the other commission I have, it's like he knew which models he wanted for sure. So I like, and like he lives, you know, far away from me, so I'm procuring the kit, like I'm buying the kits myself, but you know, that's added to the cost of the commission. Just because it makes sense for me to buy them, and then I can send him the finished commissions rather than him buying them, sending them to me, then me sending them back. But you know, if he had already had one of those models, maybe, or like he probably could have done that, and that would have been like, there's an argument for that as well. But how the commissions work is you message me privately with an email, or so you could start on with an Instagram DM, and we can move to email from there. Just reach out to me in a private message, and that's how the commissions work, and we figure it out from there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what blending I did after this, I think. Yeah, we only need to do a bit more blending. And I think we'll do that just by mixing in a little bit of thrall flesh. Yeah, Tinko Wolf, back to your question. If you give me a specific Warhammer model, I might be able to tell you whether that's hard to paint or not. You know, people generally say like lizardmen, also known as Seraphon, are easy to paint because they've got, you know, lots of scales and stuff that are easy to dry brush. Some people say Stormcast Eternals are really easy to paint because they're kind of just like the fantasy Space Marines. Pain, you probably just heard the tail end of me explaining how it works if you want to hire me for a commission, which is just to privately message me or email me. I'm just gonna use the hobby knife to scrape off a bit of texture that ended up on this. Oh, and there's like a tiny dust fiber in there too I need to get rid of. See, this is the problem with when you have projects you leave as whips for years. Obviously, this is a lot more of a minor issue when it comes to an entire like army of minis. It's a lot easier to hide the imperfections like this than it is with like a Gundam, which is one single model with lots of smooth armor panels. Like, textures are gonna show up way easier. Yep, if you paint a skink just extremely proficiently, you can win a golden demon. I think I'll switch to my very stained army painter brush. Fiverr, you and I should have a contest on like who has the more haggard looking army painter regiment brush, because I think I've seen you use one of these in your streams. Yeah, we're just doing one last quick pass of blend in here. And then we get to switch to a nice, fun Maybe I'll show you the commission after that before I do. I don't know if I'll do the dry brushing yet, but the like green scales on top, like I was saying about painting Seraphon earlier, is painting scales like this is super easy with dry brushing. That's not the blending I want, actually. Let me grab some darker stuff. Yeah, I figured you would win. One hair on a brush? Oh, so do you use that for dotting the eyeballs then? It takes a lot for me to throw out a brush, even if, you know, I just have like a section of my drawers full of like the Haggard brushes for, you know, stuff like metallics or washes. One time I was running a painting demo at my local gaming store and gave one of my brushes to a child to use because, you know, they needed a brush, and I was fully expecting the brush to be unusable after, which was fine because, you know, as part of running the painting demo, the store would reimburse me for stuff like that. But yeah, that brush had to go in the trash after that painting demo. The bristles were just like fully spread apart flat. Targeted pin washing. I mean, you could start a collection of just brushes that you've murdered from excessive use and just keep them in like a separate glass on the shelf or something. Just some sort of like fun decoration or memento. Oh boy, I've been streaming for an hour already. Time's just been flying by. Yeah, I think I'll call this. Let's just add a tiny bit more with the slightly darker green to this area here. Alright, did I do the second round of blending on this one? I can't even remember. Doesn't look like I did. We should have just enough paint on the palette left for that. Welcome, Nathaniel. You don't have to be sorry for being late, that's alright. Thanks for coming. And yeah, we were talking about custom transformers earlier. I was trying to remember your name on Instagram. I think I said it was Nathaniel's Custom Gundam, because you've done some custom transformers, right? Oh, you're going to Gen Con, Fiverr. Yeah, the thing I was doing, I wouldn't call it a class, but it was a fun painting. It was a fun painting workshop, maybe casual. Did you have to buy tickets to Gen Con like way in advance to actually get some? Gen Con, I've heard Gen Con's like even busier than Adepticon. I guess that makes sense because Adepticon is like just wargaming and Gen Con is like all tabletop. But that's exciting either way. I've heard lots of fun things about Gen Con. Also, I can't remember where Gen Con is. Gen Con's in the Midwest from what I can remember, but that's all I can remember. I know Adepticon is like outside of Chicago. I'm pretty like, I have nowhere near the finances to be able to travel to any con other than my local anime con. Unfortunately, there's no wargaming convention in the mid-sized Canadian city I live in, or no like big one. The only like proper wargaming convention I went to was Lock and Load in 2016, and that's the one run by Privateer Press, who makes Warmachine and Hordes. Surprise, surprise. Lucky Fiver, you get to go to Adepticon and Gen Con. Oh yeah, hotel reservations, yeah. I hear that's a nightmare with Adepticon too. Oh, new original character transformer custom, very nice. Ooh, Relic Blade. That's like a team skirmish game, right? Like D&D fantasy based. Relic Blade seems like it's similar to Frostgrave. Well, good luck in your game with Brent. That'll be epic. Wish I could be there to witness it. As much as I like Brent, I'm rooting for you first. Are you gonna use your some clown gobos for your Relic Blade team, or do you already have one? Okay, well, we're at 14 viewers now. I'm almost done blending this skin, so I'm gonna show off that commission in a minute. You're using the goblins for your Relic Blade? Oh, you have a Relic Blade team, gotcha. If you wanted to put in the effort with your clown army, you could magnetize all the bases and then like have some sort of metal tray that's like, or like a metal candy tin that's like really big, so you could like just carry them haphazardly one-handed on a tray, but they're magnetized to the tray so it's fine, and be like present your clown army to your opponent, or on a pizza tray or something if it's metal. Hi Sasabi. It's funny that you just showed up, Sasabi, because I'm about to show off this Sasabi commission I'm working on. A mix of Tri-Burning Gundam and the Wing Zero Oh No kit. Nice, that Build Fighters team sounds pretty fun. Yeah, I gotcha, Fiverr. Sorry, it's in a few pieces. You can see the base here, though. This base is bigger than any of the other ones I used for my Gamma Wolves stuff. So the plastic card I have doesn't like fully cover it, so I'm experimenting a bit and like cut up tiles of plastic card so it's got like a 3D effect. So I'll probably have some kind of shifter paint like here, and then paint these with some kind of gradient. Just gotta put the weapon in the hand. Oh no, there's some residual sticky tack on there. I'm gonna have to fix that later. Okay, all 10 of you watching. Damn, we were at 14 a few minutes ago. You get an exclusive look at this commission I haven't posted to my social media yet. It's the real grade Sasabi. It's not, it's a Model Mayhem style commission, so it's gonna be like mostly locked in place like my Gamma Wolf stuff. Got these big leggies. Some cool thrusters to show off, and some very enormous, I guess, shin guards. The Sasabe is a very interesting design. But the main kit bashing... yeah, full-length videos are time-consuming. Nathaniel, trust me, I know. Yeah, so we kit bashed, kind of like, got matching arm-mounted missile launchers here with a variety of pieces. Doc Zasabi. Dr. Zasabi. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not gonna name this because I'll let the person who's commissioning it name it. And yeah, we got this cool like demonic arm coming out of the backpack. That's the other main kit bash part. I added some wires in there, you know, G parts. Nothing's really been properly sanded yet because yeah, we just finished the kit bashing the other day and it's time to work on something else. But this arm, this like it's called a demon arm on the box. It's a Kotobukiya like accessory kit thing. Yeah, it's weird. Is it a good weird fiver? This scythe was a bit longer too, and I shortened it just because the way with the location I wanted him gripping it just works out better. Yeah, we got a big butt flap with some good mechanical detail that can open up. Whoops. It's a little bit of a flimsy kit, as you can see. Obviously that won't be a problem when I get to the painting stage. Looks OP AF, thank you. It was definitely, it's not a style of mech design that I'm familiar with working with, so definitely took me a while to figure out, or like me and the guy commissioning it, it took us a while to figure out. Well, he was like okay with the stuff I suggested right away for the most part. It was more like me. It took a lot of sorting through the bits to find something that would work, or something that like, you know, meshed. The main ideas were like to have the cool demonic arm be like a blaster, and then this scythe kind of goes with it, or like the scythe and the demon arm kind of matches the weird curvy armor. Thank you, Sasabe. It's your approval that I needed the most. Yeah, let me know when you do a full-length video, Nathaniel. The most important part with making YouTube videos is just to start doing it, because usually the first one you make is kind of bad and you need to like just get over that initial hump of making videos and just get it out in the first place, because as soon as you start making the videos and doing it, you know, repeatedly, that's how you get better. Because you learn new things you make new mistakes and learn new things with each video. Yeah, you gotta use proper grammar. Oh, what's your kit bash with the diorama? Okay, I'm gonna put this back now and go back to painting on the Skorne. Or I'll wait for like 15 seconds in case anyone has any last questions about it or needs a last chance to look at it. Yes, Sasabe, this is a commission who requested a Model Mayhem style, so it will be painted in my hand-painted Model Mayhem style. Mostly glued in place. Yeah, Fiverr, you know what's up. You know how it goes. Alright, I think it's been about 15 seconds. I'm gonna go back to painting the Skorne now, so I hope you all enjoyed this exclusive sneak peek at the commission I'm working on. Oh yeah, summer vacation. You want him to wave goodbye? Okay. Now let's use... I won't be able to do this when it's painted. He's just gonna shake his fist at you. Bye, Fiverr. Oh, part of his waist just fell off. Or we can wave with his demon arm. Bye, Fiverr. Just gotta set him down over here, 1 sec. Alright. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Fiverr. That was some fan service just for you. Okay, I think we'll just... I don't feel like going to the dry brushing yet, so I think we'll just start applying colors across all the Skorne models and just get some solid base coats on. What did you all think of the Zasabi Kit Bash? Hope you enjoyed that look. I said exclusive look, but the Patreon members have already seen it. Because, you know, they're the Patreon members. They get the first look at things. Alright, well, let's... Usually makes sense to start with the darkest colors first, so we're going with black. I'm trying to use up the rest of this Army Painter matte black because it's almost done and it's not my favorite black. My wet palette could use a bit of extra water actually. Let's do that. Now it might be a little heretical putting the dirty paint water like into the sponge, but it's fine. There's only a little bit of paint pigment in there. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. Hopefully that wasn't very loud. And yeah, I haven't decided what colors I'm gonna do this guy's tiger, or like saber-toothed tiger. I need to look at some references. It's got a kind of weird like rat tail though. It's been a long time since I've seen the like just regular unit saber-toothed tigers, so I don't know if they also have these like weird rat tails, but this one does. You need to up your game, Pain? Well, make sure you don't spend too much time comparing yourself to others, Pain. It usually doesn't end well, no matter what context it's in. You gotta measure yourself with a measuring stick according to, or a theoretical measuring stick that is based on yourself. Like, compare yourself to your past self. Because if you compare yourself to someone else who you look up to, like if you compare your work to them, it's really easy to just get into like really negative thought patterns that like end in you just doing no painting at all or no work at all. You know, that's what I tried to get across in my first video of the year when I did the real grade Hainu. Man, I try to get across some variant of that point in every video, I'd say. You know, like if I compare my Gunpla building skills to other like popular Gunpla builders, I'll almost always feel inadequate. But when I compare my Gunpla building skills this year to like when I started a couple years ago, it feels good because I've improved. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you shouldn't like... there is some value in like comparing yourself to others' work in terms of like trying to figure out what you could do differently, but in general, I try not to do it that often. Like, you can definitely learn a lot of stuff from other people's work, but you shouldn't judge your own work according to other people's results or criteria. But, you know, if you're entering a big competition or something, you might want to have a different mindset. I mean, if you really want to win the competition, there's different mindsets to approach with competitions. Sometimes it's just a good way to like get painting done and experiment or learn something new. You know, if you're the kind of person that needs a deadline to like actually get something done, painting competitions are good for that. That was how I made sure I got my Buster Gundam done in time, because I had a deadline of the Gunpla competition at my anime convention. Yeah, exactly, Fiverr. You just gotta have fun with the process. But you know, if the process gets frustrating and you need to take a break, that's okay too. Yeah, I can get away with using the brush with the awful point in this section because I'm just painting over gray primer, and none of this model will end up gray at the end, so the mistakes don't matter. I'm just getting those good old base coats on. And yeah, Skorne have one of those classic like fantasy army problems where, I guess it's not entirely a fantasy army problem thing. It's like the unit leaders usually have, you know, like they're the only one in the unit that's wearing a helmet, and they also have a big flag on their back, so in like a real world tactics situation, the enemy can just be like, oh, make sure you snipe that one out, that's the leader. That'll like disrupt the whole unit. And he's conveniently got a big flag on his back, so we know which one to shoot. It's a similar, I find it's a similar vibe to just, like, why would a Space Marine ever not be wearing his helmet, you know? Like, that's like not a hot, that's like a cold take when it comes to 40k stuff. It's like, I know lots of people, it's like, yeah, if you have the option between doing a helmeted head and a non-helmeted head, picking the helmeted one. But I know there's people that feel the other way because they enjoy, you know, painting a face, because a face is a lot more expressive than like a Space Marine helmet. But you know, if you're fighting in the 40k universe, you want to be wearing a helmet. It's dangerous. Elgatoire 21. Where's the Red Bull? I don't have any Red Bull. Tonight I've just been drinking tea out of this Gundam cup. Yep, that's some good advice too, Cyber Scorpio. I'm glad you agree. How do you in chat feel about when you're building a miniature or model and you have an option to have them helmeted or not helmeted? Are any of you like pro helmet or pro naked head? Painting these black poles is slightly annoying, I must say. Probably because I'm not using the appropriate size brush. Oh boy, we're up to 20 viewers now. almost done. Catch up on the messages just as soon as I finish these annoying back flags. Flag poles, I should say. Yeah, might be a couple more areas I need to hit with black on there. Yep, I'm in your camp there, Nathaniel. I'd rather paint a helmet. Thank you, Ilgatoire. A helmet-friendly zone. Yeah, we appreciate safety here in the helmet zone. Oh, welcome, Robert. Happy birthday. Hope you had a decent celebration. Yeah, we just need a little bit of black for the undergarments on this. Or the under armor garments. Maybe he's wearing undergarments under that too. I don't know. The Skorne and the Warmachine and Hordes faction are from the Bloodstone Deserts, so I imagine they get pretty sweaty in their red armor when they're fighting in their home turf. Although I guess in the lore they do a lot of invading of the western lands, you know, where it's not a wasteland. So I'm sure they enjoy the slightly cooler, more humid temperatures. A good SD kit that has a lot of details that's good for testing things out on. I mean, I've got two. That makes me want to give two separate recommendations, because a good SD kit that has a lot of details, there's those like cross silhouette frame SD kits. Those ones are pretty good from what I hear. But if you want one that's good for testing, I would just get like the cheapest. Like, I think they're called... Like Blue Parappa has the Death Scythe and the new Gundam SD from, I think it's like the SDES line or something. They have like the backs of their legs are like hollow cavities. They're very cheap. Oh yeah, we'll need to paint. Well, it looks like part of the back of his shield will be gold, but we can start by just slopping a bunch of black on there. Apparently there was some announcement from Bandai this week about Master Grade SD, which bamboozled me a bit. So I mean, that'll obvious when that comes out, whenever that is, probably sometime in 2023 or maybe like closer to the end of this year. If you can get your hands on a Master Grade SD, that'll be like by far the SD with the most detail. I did not see that announcement coming, let me tell you. There's some butt showing we can paint. There we go. If you're looking for minis that have like the nicest sculpted butts, you should check out Infinity by Corvus Belli. They got some... Those minis have some booty. And they got some good, some cool mech suits, more importantly. And werewolves, funnily enough. Yeah, and this armpit area doesn't have a lot of primer on it, so painting it's a little iffy. Just gonna have to pile on more coats. Right in that armpit. I can use a bit more on the shield actually before I move on. Yeah, is that part supposed to be... I think that part's supposed to be red actually. Just gotta get a bit more in that armpit. And I see a couple gray areas on this flagpole. It's really awkward to get in there. Yeah, and like painting the Skorne symbol on the inside of this flag here, that's gonna be super fun. I can't wait to do that. I mean, will I even paint it? Who knows? Maybe not. I'll paint the ones on the outside. That's probably good enough. Bo, I'm assuming your name is Bomed, B0 Med. It's for the game Warmachine and Hordes by Privateer Press. It's a miniatures war game. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio. I'm interested to see what it's gonna look like, because all they really did was announce the new line. Yeah, I'm not like that into SDs, but maybe it'll be cool enough. I'll get one. I think if it's like the first master grade in a line, you know, it'll probably be an RX-78-2, which doesn't excite me that much. But who knows? Who knows? You just painted a high-grade strike Gundam. Trying to figure out what to name it. It's always a tough question. My Gamma Wolves mechs, I kind of compromise, and like I gave, or the pilots have, you know, unique names. Well, some of them are unique, some of them are like characters from other franchises like Jack and Dexter. And then the mechs themselves I name after just the literal mech it is from the Gundam show. So Ace Pilot Miyuki Charson pilots the Barbatos. But then, you know, as I'm sure some of you know, the Goof is still piloted by Ramba Rao, because he's just that iconic. Good old red and black. Red and black is a good color combo because you can add like a third complementary color pretty easily, and you can have a lot of different options that look good. You know, like white or gold. Shadow Strike ER. What's the ER stand for? Oh, and Bomat, I don't remember if I said when I answered your question, these models are from the faction in Warmachine and Hordes called Skorne. Sorry, my camera's autofocus was a little jittery there. Yeah, this guy's got more black bodysuit showing. And if anyone was wondering, this next stream I do after this will probably be Gunpla painting. No guarantees, but yeah. Ideally, I'll be doing most of the painting for that Sasabe commission I was showing you all earlier on stream. Yeah, I'll do some. I'll do a decent chunk of the painting for that off stream as well, but since I'm not doing like a video, like a proper dedicated video for that one, I'll probably do a decent amount of streaming with it like I did with the Vidarbatos. And of course the Vidarbatos will eventually return to stream as well, because I don't want that to remain a work in progress for years. And we need more paint on the palette. Just getting that thinned. Very good, Nathaniel. Well, Jedi Sensei, that comment just came out of nowhere. I don't know if she'd make that in a month, but she'd definitely make a solid chunk of money if I had to take a guess. Alright, thanks for coming, Fiverr. I appreciate it. Glad I could wave to you with the Sasabe. Hope to see you again soon. Give your cats some scritches for me. Got a little bit at the elbow that needs to be black. And a little bit of the bicep. And I suppose, yeah, this other bicep doesn't really have, or the other arm doesn't have as much armor on it. The sculpts for the, like the riders that are riding these raptors are the same kind of, like they're wearing the same armor that those infantry models I was painting on the previous streams are, but the sculpts are like a little older. So it's interesting to see like the different, where the details changed. Okay, now I do need to paint the raptor's claws black. That sounds rough, Cyber Scorpio. Hopefully you're a night owl. Razor edge, yeah, that's a good one. I approve of that pun. I think I'll circle back to the claws actually when I'm using the smaller brush, because that area I actually need to be precise on because I've painted that part of the skin. I guess I'll probably need to do a second pass of black on the other Raptor Rider I just painted. I guess I'll have to come back to it either way when I do the claws, so whatever. Doesn't the Razor already have a bunch of swords? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Or does the Razor have a big sword? Or I guess it has like a system of transforming guns that, or something that can also make a sword. When it comes to having a bunch of swords or like one or two really big swords, I prefer the big swords, personally. Oh, there's some dust fiber on there. Come on. I think I got it. Cooling rags, yeah, that's a good idea. Sometimes I feel like a night owl, sometimes I like waking up early. Depends on what's going on in my life, I suppose. If it's crunch time, I got no choice but to be a night owl sometimes. Well, Pain, there's no harm in just putting them in the hands and see how they look. See if it'll justify taking those swords, or if it looks cool enough, you can justify taking the swords away from the sword impulse. Guess that makes it just the impulse. Yeah, real grade kits are very easy to lose parts on. It's a little stressful. Right, gotta do the legs. Yeah, when I've got all these, or all the Skorne models that I have assembled, painted, it'll definitely be a good excuse to get the entire army out on the table for a big fancy army photo shoot. That'll be a big hit of serotonin, perhaps, for me. Be like, wow, look at all the gold trim I painted. And I definitely didn't do the foot on the other one. Yeah, I haven't really built any 00 kits now that I think about it. I think some of them look pretty decent. Guess I've just been more drawn to kits from other Gundam series. Alright, we need to switch to the smaller painting handle for the smaller, or the dismounted version of the saber-tooth riding one. Thanks for being the designated pun person, Ethan. I mean, no one designated you, you just are doing it. The last one was good. Sounds like Robert's got a pun coming up. It fell and split in half vertically? Damn. Or no, I'm probably at the waist. That makes more sense. Yeah, that's always painful, Bo. My job is doing this stuff right now, but it's not earning me enough money to like keep doing it for long enough, and I'm gonna might have to like go back to having a job that gets in the way. Although, you know, sometimes I'll be working on something for a deadline or a video that needs to get out, and I might want to work on, or I might be like editing a video when I really would rather be painting minis. There's just pros and cons to every approach to life, I suppose. If I was working for some company or something, it'd be a lot less fulfilled, but the stable employment would be a huge benefit in its own way. Work-life balance would be easier to achieve, but, you know, yeah, it would get in the way of the hobby time a lot. It's hard, it's weird to, like, call what I do a hobby now, because I, you know, try to approach it like a job. I suppose, like, the activity of painting miniatures or, like, Gunpla is always going to be a pastime or a hobby. But, like, maybe for me it's not. I don't know, it's hard to say. The line is very blurred. Double jinx. You built a shining Gundam with LED lights on both hands. Nice, that sounds pretty cool. How can you add clear parts to the GN drive? Because the kit I'm using is... Oh, Plamotherapist has a video actually where he customized, I believe it was Kyrios, and he recast some of like the clear parts that went in the legs, I believe. I'm trying to remember. But he used clear UV resin, which is like not that hard to come by. So I would look, like, he used he had to like make a mold with the original like piece from the Kyrios kit, and then use that mold with clear UV resin to make a new clear part that he could, and I believe he like painted it with some clear purple paint, or maybe mixed purple ink into the resin. I can't quite remember. It's been a while. But yeah, look into like, I don't have a lot of practice in that area. Yeah, look into clear UV resin, perhaps. I know there's definitely other, like, Gunpla builders and miniature customizers that use that stuff. I don't think it's too expensive. I don't actually know. GNX 00100. Here we go, painting those annoying back flagpoles again. You'll need at least one more squirt of black onto the palette. Steal any real grade GN drive. Yeah, that could also work too, Nathaniel. That could also definitely work. I don't know what would be more expensive, to buy another real grade kit and steal parts from it, or to buy the stuff to buy a little bit of UV resin and the stuff to make a mold and all that. Yeah, if you want a demonstration of what I was trying to explain, go to Plamotherapist's channel. Yeah, like Sasabi says, UV resin. The GN drive is one aspect of the 00 kit design I like. I have a master grade GNX that's been sitting in my backlog for a while. I like that design. And the first Gunpla I ever painted actually was a high grade, I guess it's from Build Fighters. Or maybe it was Build Divers Re-Rise, but from one of those series is, oh, what was it called? Are these flags? They're not really bent, they're just supposed to be like that. Yeah, that's a video idea I have sitting on the back burners, to do that master grade GNX and then like also feature my first kit ever in the video a bit. No idea when or if I'm gonna do that video, but you know, it's just on the list of the many video ideas I have. It's one of those reasonably priced master grade kits too. Yes, Zasabe, sometimes kits must be sacrificed for the greater good of the hobby experience like that. That's why you always end up with a Gundam graveyard of some kind. Just more kit bashing fuel, as they say. As I say, I don't know who else, if anyone else says it, they probably do. Yeah, Nathaniel, I'm bad at adding. I added an LED kit to my master grade, or Jesta, or like a really basic LED, and it looks pretty bad. Or like the hole that the wire comes out of is like way too big. That kit might end up becoming kit bash fuel one day, who knows? You know, I was able to take a picture of it and it looked like the eye was lit up, so that was cool. And you know, the Justa has like a cavity built in for the LED, like the Bandai LED unit already anyways, so. But you know, like, you know me, I like to get out of my comfort zone sometimes. Or I don't always like to do it, but I know it's important. Oh, the Razor uses a twin drive, I see. Which 3 Pokemon Gundam characters got reincarnated as? Well, I know who Char Aznable gets reincarnated as, or I think I do. I feel like that's the easiest one. Well, Nathaniel, you say you'd love to have 3 master grade kits now, but I feel like once you get 3, you might want a 4th one. But you know, those are 3 solid kits there. Yeah, I've definitely gotten ahead of myself before, Sasabi. It's good to be able to recognize that's what happened. Good to know your limits. The best way to figure out your limits is to test them like that. Let's just get some black in between the legs here, so it's not too distracting. Okay, just a bit more on his arm, and then we do the raptor claws. I know it's very unlikely, but has anyone in chat been able to try the Japan exclusive McDonald's Char Aznable burgers? Oh, I see, Robert. I didn't realize it was the same character reincarnated 3 times. I thought it was 3 different characters, so I guess I got it right. Yeah, that's the spirit, Sasabi. Oh, Rayquaza, that's a good one too. Well, that's exciting, Nathaniel. Just remember to take it one step at a time. Alright, now we must switch to a smaller brush with better control. And the big painting handle again. I guess I'll finish this tea. Switch to the water bottle. Very exciting. I guess this will just be a burp-free stream, and that'll make the next stream. I'll have to make sure I burp in the next stream, and those burps will just have twice the impact. I can lose viewers at twice the speed. Yeah, so I'm using the smaller brush here because I did work on this skin already, so I don't want to mess it up. But you know, if I do, it's pretty easy to fix. Coming up on... Probably when I'm done painting this black, I'm going to take a quick washroom break and stretch. So I can keep going. Usually I like to hit at least 3 hours. also want to preserve the work I've done on, or the dry brushing I've done on the base as well. That's a bit harder to fix. Just because I usually do the dry brushing first because it's messy. I mean, I say that, but I still have to do the dry brushing on these scales. Yes, I should probably do that next. It won't be too tricky though, it's pretty straightforward. Or like, it won't be too tricky to avoid the black work I've already done there. I hope not anyways. Yeah, I definitely have accidentally made plastic crumble with panel liner, Nathaniel. And yeah, we all need a Gundam graveyard at some point. A table vise? I don't have one, but or I have helping hands up here. I got to see what shorts I'm wearing. Yeah, I have like one of these. And I would be better suited off using a table vise, but I just like I don't like use it enough to really justify the cost of getting one. So I have to be very frugal at this hobby. But for Gunpla stuff, table vices are pretty useful. The like hobby brand kind. Heretic talk again. Yeah, but I think he was referring to like, or I always think of like the red display table vise. It's kind of like made for the scale modeling hobby. It's just so you can like have it held in place on the desk and use both hands. It's useful for like applying water slide decals, or sorry, decals. That's how you're supposed to say it. Someone commented on my January video making fun of me for saying it wrong. Yeah, the display table vise. I don't know if the display table vise is like a reasonable price or not, because I don't know like what the price for other table vices would be, but the display clippers I have are reasonably priced. So I'd like to think the same goes for the table vise. The only thing the only thing I've used my helping hands for has been for holding things in place, so I need to do either like really precise freehand or water slide decals, and that's pretty much it. I suppose they're good if you're doing like, or like they're useful for whip photos. If you're like working on just the torso, then you can like easily have it like held up vertically. Just the torso. I've seen lots of whip photos like that. Sorry, the details I'm painting right now are a little tricky to show on camera. You can see he's got some black toenails there, or claws. I guess they're not toenails. Is that, what movie is that? Is that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, or Rango, which has Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas references in it? Yeah, falling off the shelf, that's always tragic. Yeah, but I think table vices are a lot more useful for the hardcore Gunpla modelers than they are with minis. We're all about these painting handles. And you know, I paint Gunpla like minis a lot of the time, so go figure. I don't find that much need to get a table vise. I know there's a plamotherapist video where the table vise was one of his recommended products, actually. Definitely the thing I can think of them being the most useful for is water slide decals. You can see Studio G using table vise in his videos a lot. Oh, The Last Starfighter. I haven't seen that one. Definitely am aware of it, though. Yeah, adding plot plates would be good for that. Yeah, I've definitely seen people, like, when they're Cyber Scorpio, I've definitely seen people use table vises for when they're making fishing lures or flies or whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm not into fishing. My grandpa was. Some of my uncles are. And yeah, like I said, so they are useful for photos. How'd the swords go? Pain? Yeah, thin cement, that's useful, or that's useful in almost every hobbyist's arsenal. Toolkit, whatever you call it. Okay, I think I got... Yeah, the claws are pretty much done on here. Oh, we need to paint the feet on this one. Almost forgot. The rider's feet, I should say. Yeah, I'm sure that model kit would sell well. Maybe there is some out-of-print model kit for that out there somewhere. I mean, there's like Battlestar Galactica model kits out there. I know like Battlestar Galactica is more popular than The Last Starfighter, but the original Battlestar Galactica is from kind of around the same era, isn't it? Maybe a bit older, or a bit younger, I mean. I'd build the Battlestar Galactica kit. Whether it's the Battlestar Galactica itself or like a Viper or Raptor. I am referring to like the 2001 series, of course. That's the one I like. I've only seen a little bit of the original. And I heard they're like remaking it again, which made me feel old, I suppose, because like, oh, I guess the last reboot was over 20 years ago now, but still, I don't think it needs to be rebooted, personally. Okay, now we do the claws on the last one. Then I can take a bathroom break. I definitely can't answer that one, Robert. That's up to you, chat. Good. Glad the swords went well, Pain. Hopefully I've got enough black on the palette still. Ah, small resin kit. So it's that niche. One 144 scale people? That's a good question. You might have to dive into some forums for that one, but perhaps there's some sort of toy set that would include small people like that. Or like, I'm imagining some sort of like construction site playset that has like little construction worker figures. But if it's like made for little kids, there's no way they would be like 144 scale size, because that's too small, so. Might be something out there though. Or there's definitely something out there. I know like one solution I know definitely off the top of my head would be 3D printing something like that, but like I don't even have a 3D printer set up, so I don't know if you do. Or you could always, like, if you have a friend that has a 3D printer, you could just give them the STL files and ask them to print it for you. Or someone on Etsy. There's lots of like people that offer 3D printing stuff on Etsy. Or if you wanted to do hard mode, you could just make them yourself, scratch build them, or sculpt them. But like I said, that's hard mode. Okay, Bo, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, I definitely, next time I say it in a video, I'm debating whether to like make a joke out of it or not and just like say, I don't know, either say decal and like slow it down and make it like really obvious I'm pronouncing it the proper way. Or, you know, just say it like I usually do, decal, and just bass boost it or something, who knows. I don't know, I haven't put any water slide decals on for a while. I haven't had any opportunity to say the word in a script again. I mean, I only say it that way because I heard someone else say it that way when I was a kid and it just stuck. Or maybe it's just the way my brain interprets the word by default and it's just a habit I can't get out of. And most people don't really care how you pronounce, whether you pronounce it decal or decal. They'll get what you mean. If they try and make fun of you for it, it's kind of a dick move. Alright, that's it for the black for now. Yeah, Studio G does sell some 3D printed ones, I believe, because he used them in his Sasabi diorama. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio, that's right, but sounds like Nathaniel needs a handful of them. Yeah, 3D printing's a pretty cool hobby, but it is a whole hobby with a new set of skills to learn in itself that can suck you in, but you know, it might be just as fun as building the gunpla itself. Definitely two hobbies that go very well together. Nice pain. Yeah, it's not worth buying a real great kit just for the minifigure. Okay, I think next I will paint with my good old sanguine base. Start getting the red blocked out on the armor, but I'm gonna take just a quick break to use the washroom and stretch, so I'll be right back. Alright. Okay, I'm back. Bo, I'm glad you also like the reboot Battlestar Galactica Raptor. It's a very nice mechanical design. Just as nice as the Viper, I'd say. Yeah, I've never seen one in a store at all. Yeah, Hobby Link probably has some figures like that. I got an affiliate link for Hobby Link in the... It's probably in the description of this stream, but, you know, use it if you want to. You don't have to. Yeah, good job contributing to the Gundam names, Nathaniel. Alright, I remembered I got to just have a quick dry brushing detour on those Raptors before I do anything else, because dry brushing can get a little messy. So let's just grab the dry palette and some dry brush. I'll use 2. Where's my good one though? Ah, there it is. Yeah, we'll use those 2. So this is just a basic dry brush. First round with sick green, second round with a mixture of sick and livery green. If you've watched my videos before, you'll recognize these colors. Use them a lot. Which web pages are you talking about there, Bo? No, this one always makes a bubble. Let's put it here, I guess. So we'll start with a slightly bigger dry brush. Let's flip the paper towel over to the dry side as well, because that will help. Let's actually make sure this is clipped into the handle. That would also help. And wipe most of it off. Yeah, hopefully this shows up on camera all right. There we go. Is the mic picking up that dry brushing sound? Makes a lot more sound than the regular brushing. Just doing a little bit on the underside here, but gotta be pretty careful. Yeah, maybe I'll accidentally get some green onto the black I've already painted on, but that's easy to just paint over it again. Okay, I think I'll have to switch to the small one soon, actually. It's got kind of a better chisel tip. Are you talking about the Raptor, Nathaniel, from Battlestar Galactica, or you talk about other hobby pages? I'm trying to think of what other hobby pages. I mean, most of the hobby content I consume is, or like model forums, I guess. It's more just like on Discords occasionally, or seeing people documenting their processes on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. I find I'm kind of, with like the painting I do a lot of the time, I'm more just like I don't, oh, I do copy like techniques from people when I see them and want to try stuff out, but a lot of the time I find I'm more just like, you know, synthesizing stuff I picked up from miniatures over the years and just applying it to Gunpla, or like experimenting myself and seeing what works. But yeah, I don't have a super exciting answer to that question. I suppose the main answer is just like from social media is where I see most of my scale modeling related content. And like back when I was getting into miniatures, a lot of it was, you know, from good old White Dwarf magazine. And I still have a big stack of those. And I definitely gonna continue to keep those. Don't want to give those away. Maybe if I like really needed to downsize, I would give them away to some young child or someone who's at the ripe age to get into a fantasy game like Warhammer, because even if you don't like read any of the words in those White Dwarf magazines, there's tons of good pictures to look at of well-painted models. But you know, there's good words to read too, if you want to read. Reading is good. I highly recommend reading. Last book I read was The Centaur's Wife, which is pretty interesting post-apocalypse story. And then before that, I finished the second book in the King Killer Chronicles called The Wise Man's Fear, the sequel to Name of the Wind, which was pretty good. Yeah, that's the first round of dry brushing done on this. Guess we'll do the other raptor before I start adding the livery green. Ah, dollhouses, yeah. That's a good one. I'd be interested to see if you can find what you need from that niche, Nathaniel. I don't know if they would have minifigures that would look like they'd fit in a Gundam hanger, but they might. What is a Gundam hanger but a dollhouse for your Gundam? Is that heresy? Looks like your link was blocked, Bo. I think I have that, or like that's turned on by default. I can't see any link that you posted. Yeah, definitely got some green onto those black shoes I just painted. Whoops. It's a learning experience. Well, I'm not learning anything new. I just knew I made a mistake in painting the black first. The green like looks a little too vibrant right now, but it'll really get toned down and darkened a lot with the Army Painter Strong Tone. But that won't happen for a while still. Or that doesn't happen till like all the base coats and some of the highlights are done. Most of the highlights, as a matter of fact. It's like one of the last stages. It's the last and best stage. Or most enjoyable stage for me, perhaps. Tied for most enjoyable. Well, sorry the link didn't work, Bo, but I appreciate you doing that search for doll houses. That's definitely useful information for us to know and for Nathaniel to keep digging, so just check out the world of dollhouse, custom doll houses, see if that works, Nathaniel. Alright. Now we just have a mix of livery and sick green. I think I go for about 50-50 mix here. Maybe like 60% livery green. It tends to get overpowered by the sick green. Then, of course, I just have the crappy dollar store brush for mixing. That looks like... Let's just add a teeny bit more livery green. That's the problem with, like, it's always extra stressful mixing paints on, like, a dry palette. you gotta like use it up right away. Because if you have to mix more, then it's like, oh crap, what was the ratio? I suppose you could like tell by just having it next to it on the palette, but you know what I mean. I don't know if any of you watch Eons of Battle. They're like mostly a Warhammer painting channel, but I was watching one of their videos the other day. They were talking about, or he was just like encouraging to like not worry too much about if the colors on your armies don't exactly match, because he was talking about the new Games Workshop paints that are coming out and how they're changing the formula and how a lot of people don't like that. But when it comes to like painting full armies, like the colors are slightly off between a couple models, you know, it's probably not a big deal. It's like, you know, if it's blue, it's blue. Just get the shade as close as you can. The important part is just to not have the gray plastic. So yeah, this second round of dry brushing is lighter, as you probably could have guessed, because it's a highlight to the last green. Beam saber holder into a knife holder. Nice. Yeah, I mean, speaking of color matching, with my Signar army, when I started painting it, I was using a particular shade of purple for the main, like, armor color, but then, like, the majority of the armor was painted with a different color, because I was switching over to Vallejo, and I just, like, found a better purple recipe. So then there's like a section of my Signar army that's like, well, first of all, it's obvious that those models in the army were painted like first, because the paint job isn't as good. But also, like, the purple they use is like a slightly more reddish purple than the like more bluish purple that I used for the like better recipe I came up with. But you know, I didn't let that stop me from putting them on the battlefield. Ironically, now I prefer I wish the majority of the army was the more red purple, because I like that better now. Okay, did we do? No, we gotta do this one. Then we're done with this lizard dry brushing. Sometimes I'm worried these spring-loaded painting handles will like cause me to accidentally launch a model across the desk. Okay, for a second there, the YouTube Livestream studio was like, your bit rate is too slow, but it's back to saying I have an excellent connection now, so I'll just forget that happened. Every time something goes wrong with the stream, I get a little PTSD flashback to the failed stream back in April that made me realize I needed to switch internet service providers. I mean, the new one I got isn't perfect, but it's definitely an improvement. Oh, dry brushing. So relaxing. So easy. Dry brushing was the first, like, I don't know if you call it an advanced technique, but the first technique I learned with miniature painting, you know, outside of, like, applying a base coat. But it took me way too long in the hobby to, like, discover what washes were, you know. When I was a kid, I didn't know what, like, or I wasn't aware of the technique of washing. And when I got back into painting in my, like, painting more often in my early 20s, I finally started doing that, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I wasn't doing this the whole time. Alright, let's just compare those two. It looks good. If it works, it works. Good to know, Bo. I haven't had that much reason to look for 144 models outside of, like, the gunpla build. I haven't done too many dioramas. I haven't really done any proper dioramas. Good night, Rob. Thanks for coming. It's alright, Bo, you don't need to apologize. If anything, it's my fault, but I did have some annoying bot in the stream 2 or 3 streams ago. So I think I gotta keep the link blocker on for now. I don't even know if I can turn it off. I probably can. I'm gonna leave it on for now, not because of you, just because of the bad actors that prowl around on YouTube. I appreciate your hobby research for us, though. Yeah, Payne, I got a few ideas for dioramas I'll try and pull off someday. They're pretty fun. My shelf space is already, like, almost at capacity right now as it is, though, so if I make room for, if I am able to make room for a diorama, or in order to be able to make room for a diorama, I'd have to sell some stuff or make space somehow. I am gonna sell some models eventually. Just haven't gotten around to it yet, because, you know, got videos to make, got live streams to paint on. I think I've said before that I think I've said the entire time I've been working on it that I've been planning on selling Vidarbitos when it's done. It's a lovely model. I'm sure I'll be sad to see it go if I do manage to sell it, but it's also very big. And I can't just stop buying and building models. Are you kidding me? Sure, if I come across a nice display cabinet next time I'm at a thrift store, if it's small enough to fit in my apartment, wouldn't mind getting another one of those. Or one of those beloved IKEA Detolf shelves. When I was looking at getting one of those before I got into Gunpla, I didn't want to deal with the hassle of, like, adding extra glass shelves to it like a lot of miniature painters do. Because, like, the space in between each shelf and, like, the default Detolf is pretty wide. There's kind of, like, a lot of wasted empty space if you're putting 28mm scale miniatures in it. Not necessarily a problem for Gunpla, though. Are you talking about my Vidarbitos pane? Or the diorama idea I have? Because the Vidarbitos, it's some full mechanics kit bashed with a master grade, so it's 1/100 scale. One of the random diorama ideas I have is also 1/100 scale, I guess, but it's not with, like, a Gundam, it's with something else, so it would be on, like, a 100mm base, probably, so it wouldn't be that big. I guess that would be a mini diorama. Probably what I would start with if I felt like doing a diorama. Alright, what are we gonna paint next? let's do the flesh. Grab our Idrian flesh, even though we're painting Skorne and not Idrians. It's just one slight change I made to, or one of a few slight changes I made to the studio color scheme. Because I wanted to. Oh, look, that cap is broken. Look, P3 paints, love the product. Do not love the paint pots that they come in. I think I heard rumors of these being updated to a better paint holding device though. Yeah, the Vidarbatos is one of my, not to toot my own horn, but I like how the kit bash turned out on that. I mean, Gundam Vidar and Gundam Barbatos go pretty well together. No surprises there. Thanks. Thanks, Payne. Alright, this color shouldn't take too long because... no, I guess I gotta paint their fingers. For a second I was like, all I gotta do is paint their face, but I suppose I should probably do their fingers because that's what it is on the other Praetorian models. And I'm still at that point of applying base codes where like there's gonna be 1 or 2 cleanup stages after this, so like if I accidentally get some of this Idrian flesh on the black section, I mean I can already see there's a black spot I missed there anyway, so mistakes at this stage don't matter too much. It's more just about getting those initial base coats on there and tied them up later. Alright, he's done. Oh, I just splashed water onto my keyboard. Not an ideal setup, I guess. Luckily, I have these paper towels I can clean up with. Now, these ones aren't wearing helmets. They got a bit more surface area to cover. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more thought has to go into a diorama, Nathaniel. I'm sure you'll come up with something. Just gotta let the ideas roll around in your head for a while. And it's always good to have a notepad or something nearby. When inspiration strikes, you can write it down for later. It's where a lot of my dumb jokes come in the scripts. It's like the jokes come to me at random moments. I just need to make sure I write them down for later before I forget. With the modeling though, I find it tends to I tend to figure it out more just like as I'm doing it. But you know, if it's a big diorama, I'd have to definitely plan a solid amount of it ahead of time. And onto his head. Oh boy, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. Getting a little tired. I don't know if I'll be able to make it or break the time I got last stream. I think last stream I was at 3 hour 37 minutes or something. There's a big miniature painting convention going on in Europe right now. I don't know how often it happens. It doesn't happen every year though. I think it's called the World Model Expo, I think. Where is I going with this? Oh yeah, I was seeing some of the like entries to the contest there, because apparently it's like the Olympics of miniature painting. There are some real cool dioramas. And another. Well, Nathaniel, sometimes these things take days to figure out, or weeks. Like I said, sometimes the ideas just have to stew around in your head for a while. You're terrified of your diorama? And that's fair. New projects are scary. Yeah, after this flesh color, I'm gonna do the side skirt things and shoulder tusk things. And I might have to call it a night. We'll see how I'm feeling after that. Oh, I'll probably paint the inside of this raptor's mouth as well. Gotta get that done early. Also gotta make sure I don't touch his noggin while the paint's drying on it. Definitely done that a few times before. And then we could also paint the shield gems. Well, I don't really need to paint the shield gems that are on these ones that were already painted green, so I'll just quickly just put a bit. Oh, I'm just noticing now that this guy's left shoulder has like a cool face on it. I didn't see that before. I definitely like the dismounted version of this model better. Oh, I did definitely also need to paint the skin on the dismounted model. I almost forgot. Oh, I missed a bunch of messages there. Oh, you're terrified of the kit you made? It's that menacing? I suppose that's good then, right? That's what you were going for? Oh, hello, Orthox Minis. Fellow Clown Goblin, Gobbo, welcome. Is Studio G notorious for taking his time on projects? I think like projects like that just take a lot of time in general. I think that's like the norm. If anything, he's notorious for doing customs like way faster than everyone else. And you know, his video releases have been slow lately, but that's more because he's been relocating from the Philippines to Malaysia, which, you know, moving anywhere is a huge pain. Yeah, Nathaniel, if you can manage it, some kind of shelf that has closing glass doors to it will save you many battles with dust in the future, but it is a little bit more expensive. But there might be some DIY solutions. Bo, do I have a Ko-fi? I don't. Methods for one-off donations. I have set up our PayPal and YouTube super chats. I thought about setting up a coffee at one point. Maybe I will eventually. Right now I don't. The most effective way for me to get donations is Patreon, obviously. That's kind of the situation for most content creators. But I understand why some people wouldn't like to do that. I don't know if YouTube takes more of a cut from the super chat than PayPal would take from a donation. I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, I guess the one-time donations I have set up right now are PayPal and YouTube super chats. I suppose out of those two, I prefer the YouTube super chats, but that's just for the silly reason that I have the sound effect and animation programmed into Streamlabs to play when someone makes a super chat. No pressure though. I appreciate the support in whatever form you want to give. And if you can't, support with any money, that's totally fine too. Just watching the stream in the first place and engaging with my content and sharing my content around, that's no doubt also a massive help. Especially the sharing around part, but I exist in an ocean of content that new people are uploading to every day, which is a blessing and a curse. It's an audience's market, you could say. But if I was doing it for the views, I wouldn't be in something as niche as painting miniatures and gunpla. Two niches within a niche. Or maybe like if I was trying to get real popular faster, I would focus only on Games Workshop stuff. Kind of like what Age of Squidmar did, or Squidmar Miniatures, I guess he's called it. I don't remember. I don't really watch his videos anymore. You know, or at least starting off, he did mostly Warhammer stuff from what I can remember. He blew up pretty fast. Warhammer's the most, like, the biggest brand name among miniatures. So it makes sense that that's where a lot of the views would be. And, you know, Gunpla and Gundam is also pretty huge. It's, from impressions I get, it seems like the audience for miniature painting is a little bigger than Gunpla, but that's probably like my North American Western perspective kicking in, because obviously, like, the closer you get to like the East Asia area, Gunpla's more popular there because it comes from Japan. Still a massive audience for Gunpla in America, especially. And, you know, Canada is just like Diet America a lot of the time, where it's like, yeah, we've got the audience here, but there's less people here, so. Okay, right, we'll use Sanguine base, but not for the armor, like I said before. This is gonna be for painting the inside of the mouths of the beasts. I don't think that, you know, the wash will fill that role when it comes to the faces of the riders themselves, because those mouth holes are very tiny compared to the mounts. Is it Earhawks minis? Earhawks or Ear H0X minis? I watched your clown video, but I can't remember how you said your name in that now. I remember watching your non-metallic metal orc painting video too, that was good. It's always nice seeing or watching videos of people trying out non-metallic metal for the first time, because it makes it seem less intimidating for me. Yeah, Nathaniel, you might as well wait till you settle to the new place. You'll just have to dust your kids regularly until then. Well, we broke 3 hours, people. I hit my standard 3 hours. Go me. I gotta keep going for now, though. At least a little bit longer. Earhawks. Okay, good to know. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I know what you mean, Nathaniel. Definitely, yeah, no doubt it feels good when you get lots of views. But if that's all you're going for, it can really get you in a bad way. I mean, that's what most YouTubers say, is you really gotta have the passion for it, because there is a lot of working you have to do that doesn't get rewarded. And then even when you do, if you do blow up and get a lot of subscribers or views or whatever, you still gotta keep churning out content regularly to keep the views and money coming in. So there's gotta be some kind of incentive to do it that's not monetary. For me, yeah, there's some monetary incentive, but that's more so that I can keep doing this full-time to the point where I don't have to return to working for some random company I'm not invested in, or some boss that I don't like. Because like I said before, the YouTube work is very creatively satisfying, which I value. You know, I value being creatively satisfied and fulfilled more than being financially satisfied. You know what they say, money can't buy happiness, but I mean, money can buy a lot of good things that help make your life better and more comfortable, which can lead to happiness. So it's kind of a loaded statement, but if you let money rule your life, it's not a good recipe for success, in my opinion. I've got a bit of this thrall flesh on the paintbrush, so I'm just gonna very carefully paint these teeth here. Might as well. Oh, messed up a tiny bit there. That's okay. Not really. Oh, you're back after eating lunch. But it's nighttime for me. A midnight lunch, perhaps? I'm just kidding. I mean, what's more satisfying than getting views is getting comments of people who say, or when people say that, like, the message I had in my script spoke to them, or like something I said resonated with them, you know, because I try to bring positivity to the hobby and say things, you know, talk about things like managing burnout or not comparing yourself to others too much. So that's really satisfying when I get a comment where someone's like telling me that they agree with what I said, or what I said resonated with them, or that it was something they needed to hear. That's always a good feeling. You know, getting comments in general is a good feeling, you know, unless they're like cyberbullying. Like, someone commented on my Buster Gundam video the other day saying that I didn't even look like a Gunpla builder or collector. I looked like some guy from a hardcore band. Yeah, that's true, Earhawks. Very true. And the YouTube Studio app doesn't help in that regard, because, you know, every time you log in, it'll tell you, it's like, oh, your most recent video is like your 10th best or your 9th best one out of your 10 latest ones. And then, like, what happened with my Goof video, it like blew up like 3 or 4 months after it came out, so there was like a solid 3 or 4 month period where I was bummed out about, like, that was because that was my first Model Mayhem style project, so it was a lot of work. Or when I released that video, it was definitely my longest video at that point, and it didn't do too well. But then it ended up being my most viewed video, or still is my most viewed video. So there's like, YouTube's just so unpredictable. It's like, that's just another point as to why it's like bad to invest in the views and the money too much, because like it could change suddenly and you have no control over it. Wait, maybe technically have some control over it if you're like uploading regularly or whatever, but not really. Everyone, you know, there's such a wide range of YouTube videos out there with a wide range of like time and resources they take to make. There's no way you can apply like a one formula for success to any YouTube. Yeah, double-edged sword, bow. Have money to buy model kits, but no time. Have time to work on model kits, but less money to buy model kits. Pick your poison. I think we have just barely enough of this pale color left on the palette to paint the teeth. The power of the wet palette, people. Oh yeah, earhawks. I remember looking at a YouTube channel once, because like usually when I look at a YouTube channel for the first time, I'll sort their videos by like most viewed, just to like compare, and also like look at their oldest video, just because it's fun to look at that stuff. And one channel, it was a mini painting, or it wasn't a mini painting channel, it was like a Warmachine and Hordes channel. Their most viewed video, they had changed the title to like, "Stop making this my most viewed video." But that just made it get more views. Because like, if you've got a video with a title that's "Stop making this my most viewed video," I feel like that'll just make people want to watch it more, because they'll want to know what it's about. They'll be like, well, why is this his most viewed video? The title doesn't explain what the video is about, so then they click on it and it just makes the problem worse. So the only way to really do that would be to unlist it or private the video, but then you're like harming yourself algorithm wise or ad revenue wise if it has ads on it. Yeah, Nathaniel, a lot of the time it boils down to like how consistently you're uploading, or like how consistent your videos are with each other as well. And when you're when your channel's at a small stage, it's just hard to like get any views in general. That kind of like when you're starting out, the standard reception everyone gets is kind of just radio silence. One thing you might want to consider is who you're sharing the video with, because like, you know, if you sent it to your grandma or aunt or someone, for example, be like, "Oh, I made a video." And I'm not saying like your grandma or aunt would do this, but they, you know, they want to support you, but they don't know anything about, you know, custom gunpla content in the videos full of jargon they don't understand, so they might just watch the first 30 seconds to a minute of the video, hit like, and then stop watching, you know, depending on what the video is. And in the long run, that harms the video more, because that's telling YouTube's algorithm that like, people aren't really watching this video all the way through. And, you know, this is all just speculation, because I don't know how the YouTube algorithm like totally functions, because YouTube isn't transparent about that, but that's advice I got early on. So you want to share the videos with people who are more likely to actually like be interested in the content and watch it all the way through, or at least watch it more than like just the very beginning, or like hit like, maybe leave a comment, "Good job," and then not actually watch it. You know, if you're sharing it with someone who doesn't really know the YouTube algorithm or just like the content creation meta, they won't, like, a lot of people don't know how important watch time is as a metric. You know, most people can understand the concept of you know, like, if you're posting something online and it gets lots of views and likes, that's good, which is true. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, ever since YouTube changed their algorithm in a big way, and like, maybe it was 2014, 2013, kind of around there. It was back when like you know, before they did that, animation was really big on YouTube, but then they changed the algorithm to favor watch time more. It's like quantity over quality, and it really like hampered animation on YouTube for a while because it just gave way less incentive to do it when it's like your videos would get promoted a lot better if it's like a more long form talking video that has more space for ads in it. This is a subject I could rant about for a while, as you could probably tell. Yeah, watch time is a lot more important than you think it is. Or maybe you know it's important, you know. There's lots of people that are into YouTube these days. Lots of people that want to try content. That's right, Earhawks. It's like getting to, but like, yeah, the culture of YouTube is still very much about pushing the, like, getting 100,000 subscribers, then you get your silver play button, and then like getting 1 million subscribers and you get your gold play button. Like outwardly facing, that's like seen as the YouTube success, but you could have 100,000 subscribers but be putting out videos that barely get any views. And yeah, it's just a lot to, there's a lot of different factors to consider when it comes to like, or like when you look at a channel with a lot of subscribers, that doesn't necessarily mean they're like making a full-time job out of it. Well, Cyber Scorpio, maybe it's just an excuse to rotate the kits and repose them a bit, spice things up a little. Or switch things up a little. Maybe I will make it to 3.5 hours. I'm now just adding a little green to paint the gems on this. I don't need to do it on the other ones because they had some residual airbrushed green that I will just enhance later. This green just goes on so easily. Gotta love it. And there sure are a lot of danglies all over this model. Lots of this is a very blinged out saber-toothed tiger. I guess it'd be fun to paint these little eyes on the shoulder green. Got a little gem there. Got a gem here. Nice, Elytris. Yeah, I've come across a few YouTube channels like that that are just like for old archived media. There's definitely a niche there. Thing on the forehead could be just a spike, but I'm gonna paint it as a gem. That's what my gut's telling me. Maybe that's all the gems on it for now. Yeah, Bow and Cyber Scorpio, I think that's a problem lots of people have in the hobby of not having, or like just building all their Gunpla and then putting them back in the boxes in a closet, because that's where, because there's no space to display it. I moved some of my figures out of the glass display case onto my desk here just so I could have more room in the glass display case that me and Blue Parappa share. Okay, well, I think I can... Yeah, well, I've got the paint on the palette, so I should keep using it. Oh yeah, I don't want to forget the foot model again. crayon diorama, that sounds fun. Oh yeah, floating shelves, those can look really cool. I'd have to, if I ever had them, I would need some sort of like very strong guarantee about their stability before I put any like fragile gunpowder miniatures on them. Because that's nightmare fuel, is a shelf full of gunpla collapsing. Oof. Like there's that earthquake that happened in Japan a month or so ago. There's lots of like gunpla people on Twitter posting their like apartments and how the gunpla shelf had just totally crashed to the floor, and just it was just straight up gunpla gore. It wasn't pretty. It was sad. It's a sad day. I mean, the earthquake was, gunpla aside, the earthquake was obviously very bad for everyone, gunpla builders aside. I missed that gem. I'm sorry. Yep. Get in there. One there. And whoever sculpted the armor on this must have had lots of fun. Either that or is a total nightmare. There's like a lot of unique detail on this armor compared to the like generic models in this force. I like it. Yeah, I'm basically just gonna paint until I'm just gonna paint and use up the rest of the stuff on my palette and then call it a wrap, because we're at about 3.5 hours. Well, looks like I have maybe 20 minutes worth of paint left on the palette. I mean, there isn't much else I can do with the green, unfortunately. That might be wasted, but we got this sanguine base here. I can start working on the red armor. She-Truck hangers. Good to know, Bo. Does anyone have the high-grade Psycho Gundam? If so, is it good? I don't have that one. I think that's an older kit. I think there's like only that one version of the Psycho Gundam. I believe Mecha Gaikotsu has a review of that one. I don't think I've seen it. Yeah, definitely want a lip or a raised edge. I wonder if there's any kind of floating shelf out there that has like a clear vinyl casing around it, so it's like protected from dust. Or maybe you could like mount like clear yeah, I meant to say acrylic, not vinyl, like clear acrylic boxes onto the wall, perhaps. That would truly look like a floating shelf. Oh, that part of the back should have been painted black, I believe. I'm gonna have to check the reference models on that one. Sorry, I'm losing my talking energy, people. It's always what happens at the end of the stream. Planning on having the next stream next Saturday. And I will probably be painting Gunpla. I might be painting some terrain, actually. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe the wet pad will still be good and I'll be working on these Skorne again. I have a feeling if I do schedule a Gunpla stream, more people will show up. I think more people have come to my channel for Gunpla than they have Warmachine and Hordes. No surprises there. But I appreciate all of you that have been watching me paint the Skorne anyways. I really appreciate it. Even though my monotone voice doesn't convey that emotion properly. Ah, so you're a cabinet maker. Or you work in a cabinet shop at least. Well, I can bet that you'll probably be there pain no matter what I paint. But you know, if you can't make it, don't feel bad. No pressure, just come when you feel like it. Yeah, just use the last bit of this red on some back flags. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio, maybe you could start a side hustle for making floating shelves for people that low on display space. Yeah, and you can see the way this is being applied, I'll probably need 3 coats, perhaps? Well, this is the base coat, and there'll be, like, a lot of brighter reds going on top. So it'll probably get, like, 2 coats of this shade in particular. And I don't know if I'm gonna do the symbol white or gold. Usually I only paint white on the flags if I'm like freehanding something, and if it's like actual 3D shape I usually just paint it gold, but yeah, white might look better because this guy's armor is very extra and will have more gold than the other Praetorians. Glad you like the streams that much, Pain. Just make sure you live your life outside of my streams as well. My current plan is to still have the streams be just supplementary content to my main channel videos, but I do enjoy streaming. They're definitely a lot less work to put out, but I mean, if I only ever did streams, I'm sure I would get or I would miss making like dedicated videos at some point and go back to it, even if I like said, oh, that's it, I'm only streaming now. Depends on what my current life situation is, I suppose. I have the time to stream now, but for a while this year I wasn't able to. Partly due to time, partly due to Wi-Fi. But this is my third official Skorne stream in roughly a month or so, so I'm doing them somewhat regularly. Hopefully I can keep that up. I live in Canada, Pain. You probably knew that though. What do we got left to use up? We got some, yeah, I suppose I could use a bit of that green. Just color match the shields. Don't want it to go to waste. Oh yeah, Elytris, it's an absolute nightmare painting the insides of those. You are definitely right. I am debating, like, the insides of the banners will probably just get red and that's it. Yes, it seems like there's a lot of miniature painters and gunpla builders in the northern states because, you know, winter time means you gotta stay inside and you gotta do something when you're staying inside. But then I suppose it's like in places like California, there was a lot more cultural exchange with Japan over the years. So like more gunpla product just made it there. Or like it was easier to get gunpla product there in general for a while. That's my guess anyways. The origins of like anime clubs, the first anime clubs and stuff were in California. Hype Mike, I don't know them. Yeah, Dana Howell, she's Canadian. I'm trying to think of what other hobby YouTubers I know. There's a video game YouTuber I like called Party Elite, and he's Canadian. Some video essayists I like that are Canadian. Let's see, we got... Yeah, let's paint the saber-toothed tiger's teeth. Got some paint left on the palette I can use for that. And I think that will be the last detail to paint tonight. Alright, thanks for coming, Nathaniel. Catch you next time. Have a good one. Dang, y'all are getting actually close to coordinating a shelf install. Might have to continue this in DMs after, who knows? I'll just leave that up to you too. Yeah, I know what you mean. Earhawks, it's like, in some way you're kind of like glad they did unsubscribe, just because it's like, get out of here if you're gonna like, if you don't agree with this, like, I don't want you around here. But yeah, it still hurts. It's like, oh, they were here the whole time. But, you know, if that's the reason why they left, they don't deserve to watch your content in the first place. And that's, like, generally my opinion. If someone, like, unsubscribes to me because of something I said that I believe in. It's like, I don't want you watching my content in the first place then. But yeah, unfortunately, losing subscribers is in the mindset of like thinking of YouTube's success. It's like, yeah, that hurts for sure. Why, hello, Axel. Yeah, most of the most popular Canadian YouTubers are somewhere in Ontario. That's where all the important stuff in Canada happens. It's like Ontario or Vancouver, which is a massive generalization, but it's just where most of the population is. Axel, you're showing up in like the last 5 minutes of the stream. And I'm actually, this stream's gonna end up being longer than my last one. Didn't see that coming. Alright. Got some painted teeth there. That's right, Pain. Gotta be yourself. It's good, Axel. I'll show you what we've been working on, and I'll wrap up the stream. Just been working on these kit-bashed Skorne Ferox models for Warmachine and Hordes. Back in my 4th video of 2020, I had like a Skorne painting recipe video where I painted the other 3 models in this unit. Then we got a kind of like cavalry commander guy who's riding the original model that they ride in this faction, which is like a saber-toothed tiger. And this is like the dismounted version, because you're playing in the game. If you kill this one, then it gets replaced by the dismounted model. It's supposed to be like a powerful commander. Oh yeah, Black Magic Crafts is in Canada. Yeah, I feel bad for forgetting him. Yeah, he is in Manitoba, I think. And he's, yeah, not in Ontario and in Canada. Sorry, Black Magic Crafts, for forgetting you like that. I think maybe Real Terrain Hobbies might be Canadian too. I'm not entirely sure. And I showed this earlier. I didn't work on this on stream, but I showed it off a bit in the last stream, so you might recognize this model. Just been doing a bit of like blocking in some highlights and experimenting. Oh, right, yeah, you know Warmachine and Hordes. Yeah, that's why I kit bash. These are like Dark Elf Cold ones from Warhammer, and yeah, the kit bash was super easy to pull off, and I also prefer it to the saber-toothed tigers, but with this one, the like rider's waist is sculpted into the pewters, so like it would be a total nightmare to kit bash this onto a cold one as well. Yeah, you can message me on social media if you want, Pain. And I'll try and get to you when I check my messages. Alright, well thanks for coming everybody. I'm gonna wrap up the stream now. We're at 3 hours, 45 minutes almost. Next stream should be in about a week. And yeah, you can just check on the playlist or the live stream playlist on the channel. That'll show up there when it gets scheduled, and I'll make a post on my social media as well. Yeah, the Skorne would look good on the free tease mounts. Okay, good night everyone. Thanks again